So, well done, Davey.
Thanks very much.
Well done on your win. How did you find it today?
It was tough. It was always going to be hard. I think I was probably going in as one of the favourites, and you just end up with a big target on your back. There's a lot of, when I looked at the start sheet, there was a lot of strong riders. So it's one of these ones that you want them all to be in the break with you, because you didn't want them chasing you.
Right.
But it's hard to actually get that commutation of those correct people in the break. So I was kind of just trying to sit back and watch and see what was happening, and hopefully I would have jumped across to a break. But
yeah, because we spoke to you before the race, and you said that you were keen not to miss any of the moves, but also not to burn your matches too soon. So how did you feel when you saw Greg Brown go shooting away at the start?
I was like, I want to be with him. I want to be with him. But then I was like, he got quite a good gap quite quick, and I was like, I'm going to have to burn too much to get across to him. And at the time that he went away, it was too fast. Like the bunch was moving too fast.
Yep.
So to get away across down to Arnprior, you would just have to go so hard to try and bridge that gap. And I knew that the bunch would just be sitting behind you. So that wasn't going to be an option. I just kind of had to hope that Greg had gone a wee bit too early. And luckily enough, the bunch kind of picked it up a bit. And when did you catch him? When did you pull him back? So I think we caught Greg. I don't know. I didn't actually see when we caught him, but I remember getting in a break. I think it was up. Greg drilled it up over Flanders Moss,
right,
and we got a gap there. And then I think we got caught just coming back down to Arnprior again, and I went again.
Right.
We got caught again, and then I went again, and then I think I managed to take quite a few guys with me. But that whole lap, it was just kind of getting brought back and then going again. So I ended up getting away with Rob Friel up towards Flanders Moss. Rob was going really strong as well, and he probably would have made it in that group as well. If it just, when it came back, I went again, and I think that was the time that it eventually split. And there ended up being about 7 of us in the break, and it worked really well. It was a strong group.
So how did you play it on the final hill? Did you go from the bottom, or did you wait?
So I felt I knew I had good legs. I knew, like, Jimmy Mack's a really good sprinter, but I knew that being up a hill, obviously I had a bit more of an advantage going up the hill. I didn't think Greg would have had the legs for the sprint. He's a good strong diesel, but I didn't think he would have had the legs for the sprint. So I felt quite confident that I could do well on the sprint, but I knew I had to kind of maybe lead it out a wee bit longer.
You knew that Brian was quite handy as well, didn't you?
Because Brian, well, I got to coach Brian, so I know his numbers. So I was just kind of hoping that he'd kind of burnt himself out a wee bit. Even though I'm over the moon that he's on the podium. Like, he's had a hard year. Just with he broke a collarbone, COVID, things like that.
Yep.
So to see him winning some TTs recently and then getting on the podium today, I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon that Jimmy's on the podium with me as well. Obviously, like, if I'd left that to maybe 100 metres to go, Jimmy would have probably had legs to be able to kick, so I knew I had to go long. But oh man, when I had 100 metres to go, like, the legs were just screaming and tying up, and I was like, come on! I was like, I've only got 50 metres to go, and I could hear everybody shouting, and everyone's shouting, and I was like, are they really close to me? Is somebody going to, like, put me on the line? And I was scared to turn around and look, and I was like, oh no, and then I just managed to get a wee glimpse, and I was like, oh, I've got it.
So what's left for you this year?
I'm heading off to America on Thursday to see Gary Hand.
Right,
I've not seen him for a while, so I'm going over there, do a bit of bike riding over in America.
Fabulous.
See him.
And is Gary based out there now?
Yes, Gary's over, and he's in Aberdeen, Maryland. He's been over there for a couple of years, so I'm going over to see him for about 12 days. I'll do a bit of bike riding when I'm over there with him, get a bit of catch up, and that'll put me in good stead for the cross season. So cross season's going to start pretty soon when I get back. I'll miss a couple of them, but I'm going to focus that and try and focus the World Masters cross champs down in Ipswich, because I went down last year.
Fabulous.
I went down last year and I was in good form. I injured myself in the pre-race warm-up, so I couldn't race. So it's like a 7.5 hour, 8 hour drive to sit at the sidelines and watch the race. So,
but it's looking like a good season, because we were talking to Gary McRae. And Gary said, initially it didn't look like there was going to be much happening.
Aye.
And then all of a sudden races seem to be popping onto the calendar.
It's been just over the last couple of years, it's been kind of hard, because being a race organiser myself, you know how much goes into it. And with the old COVID situation, it was, it was just, you were just so worried that you go and put something on and all the hoops that you've got to jump through. And so now that it's kind of starting to like relax now and things are getting kind of back to normal, I think organisers are starting to get a bit more confident putting the races on, which is brilliant. We need the races, especially the cross. Like the road racing scenes, it's been pretty hard this year. There's not been a lot of it on. And when you go to the road races, there's generally not a lot of people there, but like you know yourself, when you go to a cross race, there's 700-800 people at a Scottish cross race, and then you've got all your spectators and helpers, and
you got all your different categories and all the kids running around and
it's
everything.
Brilliant. I mean, the atmosphere's amazing, and it really gets people, and it's good because it's winter time. You're not out on your bike for too long. It's relatively safe because you're in a park and things like that. So it's a cracking scene. So I'm glad to see a lot of the races popping back up in the calendar. I'm glad to see that. Obviously, I'm not having to organise one again this year because Fraser's doing Calais Park again. So I'm glad I didn't have to have the stress of doing it this year. But I don't know.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you racing again.
Thanks very much.
And all the best for cross season coming, and well done for today's win.
Brilliant, thanks very much.
No problem. Thanks,
Cheers.
David.